So the other day, my friend Isaac got wind of my tour, and he calls me up. He says, you know, that's a long trip for someone with nothing to think about. And I was like, Mr. Brock, you're right, but there's always something to think about. And when you are spending 8-10 hours a day on the road, plenty of thoughts go through your head. And he was curious what it is I think about all day. And so I have created a little series called Pedal Thoughts, where I just share what's going on in my brain. For example, I guess pedal thoughts number one here would be what I thought about for the last 3 days in Portugal. A little backstory. Before I went to Portugal, I went to Stralsund, Germany, and visited Anne, and she drove me down to Berlin to the airport to fly out. And one of the days before, we were talking about outer space, which I thoroughly love talking about, especially coming from where I come from. Her probably not so much. And she mentions that outer space is 3 degrees from being the coldest place in the universe. I mean, absolutely freezing. And then I get to Portugal and I get on my bike and I start thinking about it. And I can't figure it out. What place is 3 degrees colder than outer space? Space being absolute nothing. No energy, no light, just desolate vastness. And yet there's something out there that is more cold, more desolate than outer space. And for the last few days, I've tried to figure out what exactly that could be. You know, I was thinking like maybe the backside of Pluto, but the backside of Pluto is outer space. So honestly, I have not figured out what place would be 3 degrees colder than absolute nothing. And it's taken up 3 days of resolution. Well, I guess no resolution. 3 days of constantly trying to figure out what that is to no resolve. So yeah, that is pedal thoughts number one, and consumed me in all of Portugal. Today's Pedal Thoughts video is brought to you by Shannon Finch, one of the coolest people alive. She's the creator of Narmi Nation, Finky Ski Apparel. She does the graphic and design work with Kokatat. She's by far one of the best kayak instructors I've ever been able to work with. And I think the way she approaches life and her goals really influenced me to be able to set out on this tour. I learned a lot from her. She has a very optimistic and go-get-it attitude with her goals in her life, and definitely sees what could go right instead of what could go wrong. And this mentality I definitely learned from her, and kind of the approach that got this whole tour started. So thank you for that, Shannon, and hope to see you on the river soon.